see trees of green, red roses too. When you're thinking of me, I'm thinking of you. And I think to myself, there's a baby naked girl. And I think to myself, she's got cheeks like a squirrel. Oh, yeah. And I feel I've become comfortably numb. It's a wonderful life with, what's that guy's name?
Armstrong. Billy Armstrong.
Well, Louis Armstrong did A Wonderful World, but it was that guy. He was in 12 O'Clock High, one of those old. He played Mr. Smith Goes to Washington before Adam Sandler made a farce out of the fucking whole idea in a comedy. Jimmy, it doesn't matter. It's a Wonderful Life. He was in that Christmas story.
Oh my gosh. You can see his face.
People have been
Jimmy
making fun
Stewart.
of Jimmy Stewart.
Golly, wow.
He's practically related to you. She's an Onassis. She's related to Stewart. So, yeah, I think about that too. It's a Wonderful Life, and you know how it's a whole story about how, you know, if he hadn't been born, if he hadn't existed, what the world would have been like. And he finds it's not so great or something. I've never seen the movie.
I haven't seen it. I have to admit I have not seen it.
Oh, baby. That's why we're perfect for each other. We've never talked about it.
The one that's always in all the commercials.
I just see him running around going, and it must be good, you know. But,
well, the last time we had that huge snow apocalypse there, and it was like 3 weeks. Oh my God, there was no school. I decided to catch up on some classics, so I watched Taxi Driver and like a lot of those, you know, Raging Bull and just a lot of the classics that I've been meaning to get to. Breakfast at Tiffany's. And
I got compared to Here's Johnny, you know, from The Shining today.
We
there
watched
it goes.
A lot of those too. Yeah, see, yeah.
Finally,
and it
people
was
were
like The
catching
Shining because you couldn't leave. You could not leave your house. You couldn't get out of the driveway. It was like 3 weeks. It was crazy. And it's really fun for the first, you know, several days to a week. You can make a lot of fun. Well, and now everybody knows quarantine, that was basically what that was. You have a lot of fun right in the beginning, but then, yeah.
When the power goes out after about 3 hours, it's fun in the beginning, but everybody turns on each other. Just watch them go.
It did. It got a little intense a few times. We did. We ended up watching The Shining, and that lifted the mood.
If there are two movies. Two movies.
Cusack one from, like, remember when we went to the casino? What room was it? 1308.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was scary too. Go ahead. Sorry. On a tangent.
I don't remember what I was saying. I was already staying awake. What did you say right before the Shining being stuck in you and
lighten the mood.
Oh, 2 movies. If you want to take 4 hours out of your day and feel like you've lost the whole day already, and then when the 2 movies are over, you go, I've still got 7 hours if you can take it. One is Runaway Train with John Voight,
Oh,
where
yeah, you've
Eric
been
Roberts.
meaning to
I've been meaning to
watch
make
that
you
with
watch
me.
that.
Yeah.
It's one of those. It's a movie that somewhere in it, it shows a long shot of, I can't think of the name, but it just shows a train going down the tracks through the snow, and you're sitting there and you're doing this, and you're like, I feel like I've been watching this for 3 hours, and all of a sudden something happens again. You come out of this, it hypnotizes you. It makes you feel like you're already 3 hours in an hour and a half movie. It's like, how does it feel? You know, that's the idea. How does it? How long does this feel?
Is it like The Road?
And that's the second movie,
Oh,
The Road,
okay.
with
Alright.
Viggo Mortensen and the post-apocalyptic.
Charlize Theron. She was the mom.
Oh yeah, yeah. They just needed a mom. They could have picked anybody. Could have been Amelia Earhart. Anybody would have believed it. She's gone. You know, had her time. But yeah, that's the other one. You watch that on a gray day, it feels like it takes 4 to 6 hours. And it's like, wow.
Yeah.
It's such a mentally draining.
It was, yeah, it was.
What do they call it when they show at the theater?
It
2
did
for
take
1
energy.
or something?
It did take energy to watch it.
Yeah.
For sure. It was a good movie.
Drags you down. It's a great movie.
It's a very good movie, but
what makes it even better is it draws you into the sensation that these people are just forever.
Yeah.
It's never ending. Very well done movies.
Yeah, it's very good.
So you want to give up 4 hours of your day and feel like you've spent 3 days watching 2 movies and find out you got more time and then you just can't get up. You're like, I got 7 more hours in this day, and it's just,
So then
I'm
you put
so
the Shining
tired.
on.
And then so you put The Shining on.
Yeah. It did. It really lightened the mood. And that was when I was into those psychological thriller movies, you know, Mothman Prophecies and
Still haven't seen
all
that.
those ones. And
So many
just
movies
so
we have.
many good ones.
I showed her Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
Ah!
and
And he was like, "Oh yeah." He was like, "Oh, don't worry. I'll tell you when to look away if you want to."
because I know the
your
parts.
eyes.
Yeah.
And
She's
so
in front of me, and I'm holding her in the
totally
bed.
trusting, and he's telling me, and then all of a sudden, all this stuff was happening, and you weren't telling me.
I was awake for a while.
You weren't telling me, but I didn't know you were.
I used to go to sleep to this movie every night. Every night I would put it on and go to sleep to it. I'd wash the dishes with it playing over the stereo just to hear the sounds.
So terrible.
Such a great
Oh my
movie.
God.
And she's sitting there waiting, and all these ah, and she's like, "Why isn't he telling me?" And I'm back here sleeping. So we share movies. You got the whole experience.
Yeah, I did.
That's the beauty of
Saw it
that.
all.
You can't say I turned on her or I let her down. She went through the horror of, somebody's supposed to be telling me to stop.
I saw the whole thing. Which I used to love, the gory horror movies when we were preteen and teenagers and stuff like that. We saw them all. You know, 10,000 Ways to Die and you know, all the Freddy Kruegers and all the classics. But
Well, you know, the
we
thing is,
watched
they
all
make
of them.
fun of Freddy
Yeah,
Krueger and they make
and-
fun of Jason, but the first Jason movie I ever saw, I was probably 12 or 14. I was at my cousin's, they had HBO,
Yeah.
and they were in the city, and I would wake up in the night. Jason 2, Friday the 13th, part 2. I just woke up and I'm laying there. I'm going, oh. The street lights come through the window. I can see everything in the room, but I'm just like, oh. These things that they made farces of
Yeah.
were originally horrifying. Even Evil Dead. It turned into Evil Dead 2, which was a joke.
Yeah.
But Evil Dead, the first one, oh my God, it was a horrifying movie. These are very Hellraiser. We have such pleasures to show you.
Woo! Used to watch them all. Now, no.
I saw Hellraiser
I don't wanna see
when I was at jump school. I saw it with those rangers that I met in the cab, and they befriended me and took me all over the fucking place. But we went to see that. It was 1987. They said, we'll go to a movie. Went and I watched Hellraiser with them, and that movie just horrified me. Clive Barker at probably the best movie he's ever done. I don't know. He might say otherwise, but horrifying. I was just petrified. I'd never seen anything like it. And then they made like 19 of them or something. I think I saw part 3 or part 4 once in about 91. And I was like, that wasn't any good at all. They just destroy it with the franchise.
Yeah.
But that first time it comes out, oh boy.
Well, and gosh, I mean, we read the Amityville horror book as little kids camping out in the backyard. A lot of times we didn't even have a tent. We just slept out under the stars.
Well, in the middle of summer in northern Michigan, what that dickhead Kid Rock sings about it.
Man, that was a freaked out book to read, especially at that age. So yeah, it used to be exciting doing all that stuff.
It's a wonderful world.
It is a wonderful
really
world.
is. I mean, if you grew up next to a cemetery, all you can ever hope for in your life is to live next to a cemetery again. It's such an open, peaceful place with squirrels and crows.
Well, my dad was he was the sexton.
Grave digger.
Yeah. I grew up in the cemetery. I used to go there all the time with him. Yeah, he took care of the cemetery. Dug all the graves, and we planted the flowers and mowed the yard. Did everything.
Everybody acts like cemetery is such a dismal place, but there is beauty in it.
Yeah.
There's life. It's a park for adults. You don't see kids playing in there unless they live next door. And
I used to read all the stones.
I used to sit down and just pick one and sit down and write a story. And through walking through the cemetery next door, I see that whoever made the tombstones, they're not that trustworthy. Always double check them. Because there was that one that says, there was a Bible quote on it. This big, expensive tombstone.
Oh.
I'll show it to you one day.
Okay.
It says you're for the souls that perish.
Oh.
Which should be Perish, perish.
You did show me that.
I wasn't sure if we got around to it.
Yeah.
And they spell it Parish. They misspelled it. It's a synonym with a totally different. It's the difference between dying and being a part of a greater whole, which when you consider the Catholic Church as the greater whole, dying is just as good. Maybe they knew what they were doing. So it's a wonderful life, baby. All these things that people, they can't see the beauty in. These things that people can't see the beauty in are the things that define a person as somebody who will never see anything beautiful ever. I mean, we have the pandemic. We're calling it an endemic now. I think it's coming up to the difference between a pandemic. I thought they would go to epidemic, which is
go backwards.
started.
That's how I thought it.
But I heard the word endemic
So it just
the other day.
ends. Okay.
What is no? Endemic means it's within you. It's endometriosis.
Oh, it doesn't come out anymore. Yeah, okay.
Epi, meso, and enda. The three skins. The internal skin is the end. So endemic means it's within all of us. We have it. It's like zombie stuff from The Walking Dead when they were down in Atlanta, and the guy, and they didn't even tell it. They brought it back a season or two later because they had to fill a space, the way I see it. But that guy, when they were speaking and nobody could hear what they were saying because the writers didn't have the creativity to get a good story when they wrote that episode, a season or two later, they show it, and this guy says, oh yeah, the zombie thing. It's in all of us. So if you die, you're coming back. So we've gone from that. We've watched this virus take its path. We've seen this. We've seen, it was something about that guy. Oh, that poor guy. I realized, I thought he was always telling the Christians that he was against abortion just to get their votes. But I realized today something. It wasn't even anything I heard. It just went, yeah, mind-blowing experience. That's why he doesn't want abortions. It just happens. It's like sleeping on it. And I'm sleeping all the time.
You'll know the information when you're supposed to know the information.
Let it coalesce.
Yeah.
He doesn't want abortions because he knows that if his mother had known who he was going to be, she would have done it. He does believe in anti-abortion things. And that, and any woman he fucks has got to have his child that way. You know, he needs help.
Yeah.
Help doesn't always come from your children.
Yeah.
So we got to see this coup thing going on. We are being exposed to so many things in the world right now that they're written in history books from time to time, but rarely do people exist in the time where they're all happening. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about that. I haven't looked it up. It's very exciting, baby. It's a wonderful life. The snow's falling.
It is. It's so beautiful on the trees. We really haven't had snow this year. This is the first time we really actually... I mean, we've had snow, but...
We haven't had it on the trees like this. When I was shoveling yesterday, it was so compiling. These things are going to crack and freeze and break. And
yeah, but yeah, I will. But it is beautiful. It's so pretty.
And I think to myself, hallelujah, hallelujah. You gotta keep a little bit of the air underneath coming back up after that first one. I think that's how it is. I'm figuring it out. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Yeah! Hallelujah. Yeah! Oh, Judas is back. But who mourns Judas? Are they ready? I had no idea things I was going to talk about, but I also decided that, you know, here it is, baby. Say you're married to somebody that in the beginning of a crazy situation, you've got little disagreements about things, And all of a sudden this crazy situation happens, and it's like they're saying to you, you either follow me or you're out.
Yeah.
Or they don't even have to say that. They sit and they think, if I don't follow him, I'm out. Yeah. And they start thinking, is it time to go? Can I live with somebody who really believes that? There's gotta be a way. If you cannot have a bipartisan matrimony of some sort, if you cannot see things differently, it will never survive. Thinking exactly the same way is not the path to longevity and a happy marriage. You got to keep her drunk